into Pilates for happy hips. So set up posture, heel of the foot, arch of the foot, spin it round. We're connecting to the mat, we're lifting from the arches of the feet, slight soften through the knees, hips facing forwards. Gently move the pelvis backwards and forwards until you come into a neutral position. So in between this and in between this, gently tuck it in, lengthen up through the torso, just gently opening through the chest to the top of the head. So let's focus a little more on the breath. Deep breath in, exhale, engage your core, draw the tummy in, inhale right down into the bases of the lungs, exhale, engage your core. Okay. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance into a plie squat. So with the plie squat, we're going to turn the toes out. This will depend on your knee and hip and ankle mobility. So if you're stiff in any or all of them, then you're going to have to just adapt. And the way to adapt is turn the toes in. So the further the toes are out, the more movement you have to have through the hips. So if they're pretty stiff, don't turn them all the way out. Just start at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock and a clock face. The knees are going to go down, the hips are going to go back. You should be able to pull your toes up. So that means then that the weight isn't too far forwards, okay? So just take the arms up, squeeze, inhale, exhale up. If you tend to do this, aim those knees to the outside of the feet. So you're letting the knees draw out, but what I want you to make sure is that you're not going too deep and then causing discomfort on this part of your knee. Work on opening through the hips, so at the same time you imagine those hips rotating out, okay? Just a couple more. So inhale, exhale down, good. Keep the chest up, and you just go as deep as your knees, hips, and ankles allow. Last one, inhale, exhale. Okay, we're going to find a middle ground, so in between the full deep squat and standing upright. We're going to take the hands up next to the head. Maintain static position through the hips, inhale, exhale over to the right, inhale back. Squeeze those shoulders down in the back pockets, good. So this is really good if you've got a tight lower back, if you've got tight hips, if you feel it in the lower back, exhale, good. Try not to let those knees start rolling, really work through those hips, relax the shoulders, exhale. Okay, we're going to do one more each side. Squeeze, tuck the chin in, and then release. Okay, let's step into some lunges. So, come to the front end of the mat, you're going to step the right leg back, position yourself so that you've got front foot flat on the mat, back knee is going to go directly underneath the hip. So, sometimes what people do is this. So we are going to bend the front knee, but we need to bend the back knee at the same time, so we're not keeping this straight and coming forwards. Position of the knee, don't let it do this. If that's happening, then make the lunge smaller and just control it. Again, aim to the outside of the foot, work on that hip rolling out rather than letting it roll in. Okay, so working on those glutes. So we are going to do some lunges, just static lunges. So we're going to inhale, arms up, exhale up. So you're going to feel it in and around this part, the back leg. Inhale, chest up, exhale, lengthen. Good. Nice. Okay, 3 more. So that back knee is bending, working into the quads, working into the hip flexors. Nice. Okay, last one. Good. Okay, now we're going to gently lower that back knee. Take it a bit further back so you get a little bit more of a deeper lunge. If that's pretty tight, just modify and moderate as you need to, okay? So, this foot stays flat on the mat. So this is your right leg, right arm up, reach over the body and release. Again, exhale, inhale, one more. Good. Okay, float the arms up. Again, right arm, right leg, exhale round, let the head follow, inhale. So particularly on this one, if you tighten your inner thigh into your hip, it's going to want to pull. So really work on letting that hip roll out. 2 more. Keep the shoulder away from the ear and let the head follow. Good. Exhale. And release. Gently come back up. Swap it over. So you're noticing how it felt on that side. We're going to compare between the two sides. So positioning, inhale, exhale up. Remember, the back knee needs to bend. This knee needs to stay behind the toes, and the heel stays on the mat for this front foot, okay? Chest is going to stay up. Exhale up. Inhale, lunge. Engage in the core as you lengthen up. Inhale down. Good. 3 more. Nice. So really good for balance, really good for ankle mobility, and of course the hips. Last one. Good. And then you're going to gently lower back down. So if the left leg's behind, you're going to take the left arm up. Inhale. Exhale over. Feeling into that hip. The lower back. Good. Inhale. 1 more. Nice. Okay, float those arms up. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale round. Don't let that knee roll in, so you're monitoring and making sure it doesn't start to move towards the middle of the body. Good. 2 more. Nice. Last one. Good. And then gently release. Okay. I'm going to come into 4-point kneeling. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. If you struggle with wrists, fists can take some of the weight away, so that pressure. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and just gently tilt that pelvis like we did at the beginning, so you've got a neutral position. And you want to have the weight evenly spaced between the 4 points. So what I mean by that is you're not sitting here, okay? So we're going to engage your core. Just make sure I don't kick anything. Inhale. Slide the right leg away from the mat. Now when you do that, keep the hips nice and still. I'm going to exhale, lift, inhale and replace. A couple of common things that happen if you haven't got strong connection to the abs and you're not managing to stabilise through this supporting leg is that you lean and you lift in, okay? So if that's happening and you have to think about maintaining the weight through that leg, if it becomes an issue, don't lift the leg, okay? So you're going to exhale. So if you find that you have to lean and then you loosen the hip and you loosen the pelvis, just slide the leg away and then slide it back. And you try not to move the weight side to side. If you feel confident enough and you've got good stability, you're going to exhale and lift. Now you're not lifting really high, so we're not lifting and moving the pelvis. We're keeping the lower back engaged. Good. So you're going to breathe out, draw the tummy in, lengthen, lift, inhale back. Again, so you draw the tummy in, lift. Now again, it's one of those exercises that looks like it's going to be really easy. Now if you struggle, don't worry. It's a really good place to start. Left side, finish, and then gently release. Give the wrist a little stretch. We're going to come under the forearms in almost a plank position, but the hips are going to be high. I'm going to work on some abduction of the hips. So again, same sort of concept with the pelvis. Don't let it roll all over, and we're not leaning. So let's take the right leg out, squeeze the shoulder blades together, inhale, exhale, inhale back. Draw the tummy in as you breathe out, inhale as you return back to center. Good, squeeze the shoulder blades so you're working on that upper back, you're engaging the core. Good, 2 more. Nice. And release. Swap it over, and again we're noticing and comparing. Inhale, prepare, exhale out to the side, inhale. Draw the tummy in, good, again. Good. Try not to lean too much onto that supporting leg. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Good, last 2. Nice. And release. Wrist in child's posture, stretch out the upper back. If you struggle in that position, you can grab a block, place the block underneath the head and support yourself, and it depends on how much you need. Okay. And then gently relax. Okay. this knee is bent, I'm going to have the right leg down. So if this is your right leg, this is your right arm. Engage in the core, we're going to lift the left leg, bend it up, and then kick it out. Flex the ankle, kick it behind your legs. Now I'm going to try and move it forward so don't hit me ornaments. Knee comes in, and then kick it out. So engage in the core, the leg is lifted, lengthen through, squeezing the glutes. Really good exercise working on the full hip and the knee. Pull through the ankle. Upper body stays nice and still. Breathing out and lift through the waist. Good. 2 more. Last one. Good. Release. Okay. Coming into 90-90, so 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Weight's going to come forward. Flex the ankle, so that just means bringing the toes up. Lift and lower. This might be tough if you're tight into your hips. That's absolutely fine. Just listen to your body. Breathing out, lift. Inhale back. If this front leg's struggling, you can tuck it in. If you find that your hips aching or manoeuvre yourself. So the main thing is we're working into this hip internal rotation. 2 more. Good. Okay, we're going to come into pigeon, so it's a slightly higher level. So this front leg, come forwards and slide the back leg away. You can use the block underneath that front leg to support. If it's a no-go and you're completely struggling, knees are killing, lying on your back, left leg in front, so your left leg is crossing over. Level 1 and level 2. And you should feel it in that front leg, in the glutes, in the groin. Good. So if you're up in a pigeon, good. Breathe. Nice. Couple more breaths. And release. I'm going to do it again on the other side now. So front leg, bent. Come down to your forearm. And we're going to lift this back leg up. Bend the knee. And then kick it out. Now what you might find is if this is particularly weak, you're struggling to lift the leg up against gravity, and it's good to know because then you know what you can work on. So anytime anything feels particularly tough, then that gives you an indication of where you can work on it. Lengthen hip, inhale, exhale. Let's just do 2 more. Good. Last one. And then coming up. Okay, so back knee. Same thing, come out with the mat. I'm going to lift and lower. So it's much harder on this side for me. And you might find that one side is particularly difficult. Sometimes that is the way. We all have imbalances. Breathing out, lift, inhale, lower. Good. Exhale. 2 more. Good. Okay, pigeon. So front leg and using the block as much as you need underneath that hip. Or you lie on your back. Remember you can cross the right leg over. And level 2, you're pulling it in. So a couple of options. We're getting the same area stretch, just in a slightly different way. Good. Holding it there. Breathe. Couple more breaths. And release. Okay. Sitting up. Right leg in front, left leg. Foot in contact with the thigh. If this is sitting up here and you're really struggling, block or a rolled up towel. If you're sitting in this is your position, sitting on a block helps to tilt the pelvis forwards. So we're going to actively push that knee away. You're going to reach over as you exhale. Inhale back to center. What I want you to try and avoid is curling down and rotating. So imagine you're in between 2 panes of glass. That hip has to stay down. Exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. Good. Last one. Good. Soften over and Again, notice, what does this leg feel like? Does it need a lot more support? Lifting up, inhale. Reaching up, exhale. Nice, engage. Last two. And last one. And then gently release. I'm going to cross the legs, sitting up, feeling good. Deep breath in, inhale. Exhale, release any tension. Feeling like you've done yourself a little favour. Press reset on those hips, breathing out. Last time. Deep breath, and then bring the hands together and give yourselves a round of applause. Well done. If you enjoyed that, then please, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.